Hello, this is Dr. Stanley Lang. Welcome to this broadcast, which is on self-image and self-esteem and how to get a healthy self-image and self-esteem. And this is coming out of a story that is from a patient that I saw yesterday who was telling me about her husband who plays the role of Santa Claus every year. And he has been doing this for a lot of years. And she very proudly pulled out a picture that she had of him. And I was actually shocked at how wonderful he portrayed Santa Claus. We've all seen different kind of pictures of Santa Claus. If you've ever seen Rockwell drawings or paintings of Santa Claus, this was better than a Rockwell. It was like it was as good as it gets in terms of portraying the ideal of Santa Claus. And what struck me was how she was describing how he gets into this role and how much the children love him, and how he is very much shares about the love of God. He talks about Jesus coming at Christmas. And so very unusual for a Santa Claus, and I inquired about that, and she described that that's one of the reasons he doesn't go to malls, because they have rules, and he goes to stores that don't have any rules against that. So he basically tells the whole story, and he still hugs children, and you can tell that looking at this picture of him, that and hearing her describe his efforts to throw himself into this role of Santa Claus, to being Santa Claus for children, that he's actually drawing on something that's deep inside of him. It's not like he's just pretending. It's like he is becoming this role. And it made me think about a couple of different areas that I've been studying in Scripture, in my morning prayer times, and things that I've also been trying to study regarding health for the last several decades. And this has to do with self-image and self-esteem. And one of the things that has to do with self-image is that we all, to some extent, have damaged self-images, and our self-esteem is not good. Some people we do meet that seem to be pretty arrogant, and they have what seems to be a very inflated ego, but that's not really a good self-image. They're actually coming from a place of a really, really wounded self-image. Now, what is a good self-image? Well, a good self-image is when we see ourselves the way God sees us. And when we don't see ourselves that way, or refuse to see ourselves that way, we create a different version of what we think we should look like, or what we think we are like. And it's almost always going to be something that's much more restricted. It's going to be something that is less admirable. And the features that we will see as strong in ourselves or good in ourselves are going to be much more limited if we don't see ourselves the way that God sees us. So how does God see us? Well, he sees us as children of his that he loves, and he wants us to be with him. And he sent Jesus to make that possible. That's the reality of our self-image. Now, if we haven't received this gift of love, if we haven't received forgiveness, then our self-image definitely hasn't been healed yet. So what does this have to do with emotional health? Well, I have discovered over the years that there are two major barriers for people experiencing both emotional health and physical health, and that is chronic stress and having a poor self-image. We tend to become what we think we are inside. And if we have a very restricted or wounded self-image, we will tend to portray that on the outside. We will sabotage efforts to become healthier if we think that we don't deserve to be healthy, if our self-image is of somebody that is not healthy. And so the thing that I want to encourage all of us is to kind of see that within us is this perfect self-image that God has for us. And if we will believe in this, and learn to discover it through our relationship with God, we can kind of bring out of us what this person who is playing the role of Santa Claus, he's bringing this wonderful person to the fore, and literally for a whole month, he's playing Santa Claus, and he's being Santa Claus. And so he's portraying all of that, and we can bring out of ourselves a lot of goodness that comes from God if our self-image is being touched and healed. There's a lot that we can do to make that happen better, and I'd like to share that in future resources for you. But for the time being, I just encourage you to, for the moment, accept that God has this wonderful image of you, and he wants you to experience that image the way he sees you, and he wants to make you whole in a way where you are where your self-image is wounded, and where you don't see yourself the way he sees you. So may this be an encouragement to you to experience more of the love of God for you today and each day. I wish you well. God bless, and have a great day.